thanks a lot. As November interims continue at the West Virginia State Capitol, different topics are on the table for discussion. Today, lawmakers focused on the Child Abuse Prevention Act. Shelby Burrow was there and joins us live in the studio now with more information on how changes to this act could be made. Shelby?
Well, Anthony, lawmakers are looking towards changing the language of different codes in the Child Abuse Prevention Act. The discussion today was led by a presentation which highlighted the needs for these changes. The changes presented during Tuesday meeting for the Child Abuse Prevention Act regard the minimum requirements, information on other children in the household, triggers for disclosure, and disclosure to the media.
I think this topic has come up because of, frankly, the reaction to some of the events that have happened in the state and the lack of information that is there. And unfortunately, that's raised, if you will, concerns or even suspicion as to what's going on.
The case of Kennedy Miller, a homeschooled teenager found in Boone County, apparently starved to death, is a large driving force behind changing these codes. Delegate Bob Fehrenbacher says information regarding these events of abuse need to be disclosed to the public so there is no distrust.
The protection is, to me, if you will, not an immediate connection. To me, it ought to provide insights into where Child Protective Services and others need to provide attention and do monitoring or things like that.
He says the new language would help the public's understanding of the investigation and conclusion, but most importantly, the plan CPS or other agencies are going to implement to prevent these cases from happening again.
There were certain terms that were used, like the word perpetrator was an example, and to me that includes a conclusion as to somebody did something. And to me, that's not immediate. If one of these events has taken place, then a certain level of information is more immediate to be released.
Delegate Heather Tully says states like Montana and Arizona interpreted the language of these codes differently while still staying within the bounds of the law.
It absolutely has come up a lot this past year because of the Kennedy Miller case, but it also was coming up before that. I really think we need some clarification on getting information out so that we can learn from the mistakes that may have been made along the way and make sure that another child doesn't fall through the cracks.
Fehrenbacher says he feels the legislature still has more questions to be answered before putting these changes on the table during the next legislative session.
The information that was disclosed, and do we feel that that is sufficient? And then, frankly, get a sounding board, and are there any unintended consequences? So that is a request that I would make relative to us considering changing our West Virginia laws.
Lawmakers say they need to do what's best for children across the state, and they expect this topic to be discussed further to determine if these changes would aid in abuse cases. Live in the studio, Shelby Burrow, Eyewitness News.